everyone, and welcome to Soleil Space's Short Film Saturday. My name is 𝗕𝗓𝗔𝗟𝗢. I'm the Community Growth Manager over at Soleil Space, and I am going to be your host today, taking you through this wonderful journey. We have two amazing filmmakers with us today, and so we're going to hop right into it. First, a little bit about Soleil and our mission. Our mission is to achieve a more equitable and representative global media landscape through film, television, and branded content. Our focus is on the global diasporas of Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean, with goals of elevating untold stories from these cultures, forming closer transcultural community bonds, and providing opportunities and resources for our creators to produce premium world-class content. We specialize in long-form scripted and documentary film and television branded and short form digital content. Today is obviously the short form part of that, right? You know it. So we're aiming to lift up these underrepresented voices, and there's no better way to do that than with short films. Usually short films are produced with smaller production budgets and without a lot of overhead, right? So we know with those bigger films, there's studios, there's a lot of other forces kind of bearing down on a director's creative vision. With short films, a lot of the times, there's none of that. A lot of times in short films, our directors are able to just do whatever they want, run wild, be creative and free. And so it's a very pure form of expression. That is what we're celebrating today and every Saturday that we're here, of course. So, since launching Short Film Saturdays in late summer of 2021, we have featured 47 films from 33 filmmakers in 25 countries to date. That is amazing. So let's take a look at our two filmmakers today. First, we have Kaelo Iyizoba, a Nigerian-American filmmaker currently pursuing a Master of Fine Art in Film at Columbia University in New York. He was a practicing pharmacist before he found his voice through film. His work explores the concept of identity, specifically on otherness and what it means to belong. He is committed to amplifying the quietest voices. So let's give a great round of applause for Kaelo. Kaelo, can you tell us a little bit about the film we'll be watching today from you?
Thank you so much, Nasi, for having me. I'm really glad to be here. So Boy Meets Girl is this like little film that it really started from like a class assignment, like a one-page assignment, and then it grew into something that I think is really special. And I made it with like the most amazing like cast and crew with little or no resources. So I really hope everyone enjoys it today.
Wonderful. I cannot wait for everyone to see it because honestly, I don't see the little to no resources. It looks like money, you know, it looks expensive. It's gorgeous. The colors, everyone is going to love it. So do not go anywhere. When you see the credits, that does not mean leave. It means stick around. We're going to be having the Q&A right after. And of course, we'll be taking audience questions at the very end as well. So you want to stay the whole time so you can submit your questions about these amazing films. And with that, let's hop right into it. Let's watch those films. Hey everyone, welcome back to Short Film Saturday. If you were watching, we just screened the two films. We screened Kaelo's film, Boy Meets Girl. Kaelo, thank you so much for being here for the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Nasi.
Alrighty, so let's jump right into these questions. So you requested to appear on Short Film Saturday on April 9th specifically to coincide with the 8th anniversary of the Chibok girls' abduction by Boko Haram on April 14th, because it's the event from which your story, Boy Meets Girl, was born. So again, because Short Film Saturday has such a wide audience, people from all over the world, can you tell us a little bit about the event so that we have context, and then also tell us how it inspired this story?
So the thing that happened at Chibok was, I think it's probably one of like the most horrific things that have happened in like Nigerian history. So on the night of April 14th to the 15th, about 8 years ago, about 276 girls were kidnapped, like young high school girls were kidnapped from their dormitories. They were in school to take some exams because the rest of the school was out. And they were taken by Boko Haram terrorists, which is this extremist group in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Boko Haram has been wreaking havoc on Nigeria, and they've only grown. And this is like due to a lot to like the government of the time, and even now it's still a problem. So that was where the story was born from. And these girls, at first, the government like politicized it and made it seem like it didn't happen. It was like this whole collective gaslighting that you're like wondering what is going on. Like 300 people go missing and you're saying that nothing happened.
Yeah.
They were the parents that were like crying on TV every day. They were like, and it still wasn't, it took the government a couple of weeks to even like admit that it happened, and before any rescue efforts like began. A couple of the girls did escape, and a few were like negotiated and released by the government via government negotiations. But in all, about 100 girls were never accounted for, never heard from. That was just the end of it. And I can only imagine the pain and what the families and people that are connected to them were going through. And so that's where the story was born from, like what became of these girls. There were news reports like a couple of years later about girls being used as suicide bombers in Nigeria. And it was like a direct correlation to like from that kidnapping that these were probably those girls that have been like indoctrinated and made to do these things. So that's what Boy Meets Girl is about. It's about these two people on like very different paths. In another world, it could have just been a boy meets girl, meet cute, and that would be it. But in their world, it's something entirely different. So yeah, that's where the story was born from. I really wanted to explore how these two people could just meet for a moment and have this connection and like actually share, like have an entire lifetime in the moment and go their separate ways, and you never really know what happens. Yeah. So that's the little story of Boy Meets Girl.
Powerful. Yeah, I know. I mean, it was definitely global news at the time, but unfortunately, for various reasons, we'll have this big news story. 300 girls kidnapped. It's huge. The whole world is talking about it. But it just kind of fades into the background after a minute. And of course, I'm sure in Nigeria, it's still the main big news, of course. The families, everyone's upset, of course, but then the rest of the world, it's like, okay, well, that's happening over there, and now we have our own news, and here's what's going on here. So it's something that huge and a terrible tragedy that because, you know, we live over here and Nigeria is over here, it's done, and we don't hear about it anymore. So then I love stories like this that kind of brings it back to the forefront of people's minds, say, hey, this happened. This is still a big thing. This is something that you can't just forget.
Yeah, there was a whole social media like push about it. The whole hashtag bring back our girls.
Yep.
It was everywhere. Literally everyone was carrying the placards from Michelle Obama to like everyone. And after like I mean, all the news agencies from CNN to BBC, they were all like reporting on the ground in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And after like a month, it was like old news. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, the world moved on, and these families like were still struggling. And for years they were meeting consistently. They were consistently protesting and meeting, and like even when it was raining, like they were always there. And yeah, I wanted to tell this story to like remind people that this happened and this is still a thing that people are living with.
Okay, wow. So then you already dipped into my second question a bit. The title, Boy Meets Girl, it suggests like a light romance, maybe like a romantic comedy even, but we are shown a very different reality in the film. It is apparent that they'll never be together. There'll never be anything cute or airy about this story. So I know you already touched on it, but if you could tell us a little bit more about the choice to make that the title and what it means to the film.
So as you said, the title Boy Meets Girl, it really came from like it turning on the convention of like the whole meet cute kind of situation. And you hear Boy Meets Girl, your first thing you're thinking is like, oh, it's going to be this rom-com romance thing. But like in reality, it's something very much different, and it's still a boy meets girl situation, but it's just not how you would expect it to go.
Yeah.
So that's where the name came from. That's what I mean.
I like it. I like it a lot. It definitely because, knowing the title before going in, it definitely makes that moment where we see the bomb hit even harder, because we were not at all expecting it to go that way. We were thinking, oh, cute girl, he's in green, she's in red, like, but
And
unfortunately,
I feel like they, like, in another world, they do deserve to have that meet cute. They do deserve, but like, yeah, this is the world we live in.
Yeah. So I think what's most notable about the protagonist, the boy, is his inaction when faced with the knowledge of the bomb. So I think as an audience member, I think when we watch anything, we want our protagonist to go for it, to do something. And I think it was such a powerful choice, and likely a lot more realistic, to have him kind of freeze in that moment and not be able to do anything except get off the bus. So can you talk us through this narrative choice a little bit?
So I think the choice actually came very naturally, because I was like, this is a 15, 16-year-old boy. Yeah. What would he do in that situation? Like, his choices were really limited. Like, his environment informed his inaction. So like, does he scream? What if the bomb goes off? Yeah. Does he tell someone? How does he tell someone? What if she releases the trigger? Like, so yeah, like, he doesn't even know if the boss is the intended target or if she's getting off. Like, so there's so many questions and so many things that I feel like when presented with all of that, he really did not have much of a choice.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Yeah, definitely, especially as a kid.
I remember workshopping this in class, and like, people were like asking that, isn't he a terrible person for like just getting off the bus? But I'm like, what could he really have done? And in her way, she let him get off the bus. In her way, that's like, she saved one person. Yeah, that is very sweet. I do like to think of it that way, because I think it was clear that she saw that he saw, and that could have been the moment where she says, well, I have to blow up the bus. But yeah, she did let him get off. So that's our little, tinge of romance for it, I think, as well. I spoke about a little bit, but color is so important in this film. The characters' outfits, we have our girl in red, our boy in green, but also the background characters are all wearing like very colorful outfits. Can you tell us a bit about your color choices and how those came to be? So color is something that, like, if you've been to Nigeria or like most parts of Africa, which you are in South Africa now, we are very colorful people, like clothing and like everything is so vibrant and colorful, and I wanted to represent that in this film. I also wanted to make the protagonist, or both protagonists, stand out from the rest of the cast. So yeah, her red was very much like, I wanted it to be like foreboding and almost like a forewarning of like the impending danger that was coming. And then his green was also very bold and like also sets him apart as his own character. As kind of like, green is a very neutral color, so it's like not really, so that's how the color choices were made. Oh,
I like it. Very nice. So then, with such a serious topic being handled in your film, how did you maintain good morale or kind of high spirits on set?
So I literally had the most amazing crew on set. They helped me get through it. They were all like so into the story and involved, and they had all read the script beforehand, and they were all like I feel like I shouldn't even take credit for the film, because they made it happen. Everybody literally brought a piece of themselves to it, and I think that's what makes it so special.
Oh, wonderful. But you were saying earlier that it was very low budget. How big was the crew?
So the crew was 5 people.
Oh, nice.
So it was basically me and like 4 other people, I believe. Me, the producer, had 2 producers, and then the DP, and he had an assistant camera, and that was pretty much it.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very, very intimate setting. So then this was shot on location, I assume, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It was
So it
Beautiful.
was shot on location, and it was shot in Nigeria, in the capital Abuja, so not in Borno where it
Okay.
actually takes place.
Okay.
But like they have similar topography, so like I was able to like do that.
Okay. So then all the people in the background, are those actors or are those people just going about their day?
So the people on the bus and like all the people on the bus are like friends that I reached out to. I like sent out like a Twitter, please, I need people, and people showed up, and like people from my gym. So yeah, it was it was a very intimate set because almost everyone like really knew each other, and it was it was a fun shoot.
Oh, that sounds so great. That's so great when everyone can come together to help you make a film. Very cool. So then also kind of touching on these very serious themes in the film, did you have any difficulties getting it made? Was there any backlash?
So I mean, I didn't have difficulties in like terms of like the government, and because I feel like we mostly shot without like permission. Because the government in Nigeria is currently they tend to like censor everything, like literally. You would think that this was a democracy, but it's like, this is not quite a democracy. Like films will get put out of the cinema for like maybe insulting the government agency, like literally it could be that small.
Wow.
So this film I really thought was going to get me in trouble. I'm like, okay, some good trouble is always good sometimes, I guess. And it was really surprising to have, because the film played at the Abuja International Film Festival. It actually won an award for Best Experimental Film.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I didn't think it was going to play there because like that's the capital city, and that's like it was basically a government sponsored event. So I didn't think they were going to play it. So it was impressive to see that they actually saw the need to show that. In Nigeria, we tend to like to cover everything and make everything seem okay on the surface. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad I was able to play. I'm glad people were able to see it. How was the reception? Did people enjoy it? Well, of course they enjoyed it, but like, yeah, how was the reception?
So I was here when it played, but from what I heard, it was good, and I'm really grateful for everyone that went out to see it.
Awesome. That is so amazing. So being that your film is inspired by true events, do you find real events often informing your creative process? And why do you think that is, if it is?
I feel for me, yes, I would say so in certain ways. Like, I feel like a lot of like the stories I write, they may not be entirely like based on true events, but they circle around the true event. Like the true event would be the focal point for the story. So my second narrative short, which I shot last summer, and it's currently like doing this festival circuit now. It's called 𝗕𝗢𝗬𝗜𝗚, and it centers on these two siblings. But the story is contained in the idea of 9/11 and the events that occurred from that. So it's basically two siblings that still dealing with their father's death, he was a firefighter at 9/11. So I do find that my stories kind of like reach out and touch real events.
That's very interesting. We're super excited to see that one for sure.
I can't wait to bring it to Soleil.
Awesome. So, I mean, you dipping into my next questions. I think you're a little psychic. What is next for you? What should we be looking out for? Is it this 9/11 film? Or, well, first of all, please let us know what it's called so that we know to look out for it. And are there any other films that we should be looking for?
So it's called 𝗕𝗢𝗬𝗜𝗚. It translates to what is mine cannot be lost. So it's a film I'm really excited about. I made it after my first year at school. So like I really put in everything that I learned into it. It was a really like long process. It took maybe a year to get made from writing to actually getting it made. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait for everyone to see that. I can't wait to bring it to Soleil as well. And then I feel after that, or the next thing that I'm looking to is to I'm making my first feature, which I have written. I'm working on new drafts, and I'm hoping I would go into pre-production sometime next year.
Amazing. That is so exciting. So then, for those who don't know, Kaelo is still in school. So when people think of student films, they're not thinking of the amazing stuff you're making. They're thinking of, like bad production value, cliches, it's starring their like brother or sister and they wake up and like the first shot is them like hitting the alarm clock, like that kind of stuff. So for any filmmakers or especially student filmmakers watching, what is the secret sauce? So how are you making such amazing, high quality, thoughtful pieces, and how can they also be doing the same thing?
I find that like student films or films from like people who are still in school, they're pretty much outstanding. Like they're really great. Like I feel like you just have to look. When I look around me at like my classmates and seeing the quality of work and just the emotions and the breadth of like work that people, my peers, are making, to be honest, I feel humbled to even be part of that process and be part of that. So I really do think student film, because it allows you to like, you have the safety of school where you're free to explore and really do things that you might not do if you were just on your own. So I think people should watch more student films. You would discover like there's so much amazing content out there.
Cool. So it's a cliche of the past. Student films are now
Definitely.
up there.
Definitely.
I love that. I am so excited because we have had quite a few student films on Short Film Saturday, and every time I'm like, but this is a student film? What? No way! This is amazing stuff. So I am so glad. I mean, we're in the digital age now. People have access to cameras earlier. We're able to kind of experiment with like taking videos of our friends and stuff from a younger age. So it makes sense. But that is so cool.
Yes, and there's YouTube, and where you could literally learn everything, almost everything.
So I call it YouTube University.
Yeah.
Very nice. So then how can audience members best keep up with you and what you're doing? Is it through social media? Is there a website? How can we make sure that you have a newsletter? Like we want to make sure we're there for everything you're doing.
So I mean, definitely I'm on like the Gen Z millennial mark. So I would say social media. My Instagram handle is @IJ_Kaelo. So I.J.Kaelo. That's my Instagram handle. I also have a website. It's 𝗕𝗢𝗙𝗑@yahoo.com. That's my first name and last name. .com, literally. But yeah, social media definitely. Instagram.
Great. Okay, so Gen Z millennial divide. Are you on TikTok?
So okay, exactly. So that's the
yeah, there we go.
That's the line. That's literally. So I mean, I tried TikTok for like a week, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think this is where I check out.
I am the same. I'm 96. I did the exact same thing. I was like, this is too much for me.
Yeah.
So, but all right, as Short Film Saturday continues on and we get younger filmmakers in, they're going to be on TikTok. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. TikTok filmmakers at some point.
Yep, it's happening already.
Thank you so much for chatting with us today, Kaelo. It has been amazing. So our next Short Film Saturday is next week on the 16th of April. It's in partnership with Nollywood Week Paris and Shock TV, and we will be watching a film by a Nigerian director, 𝗕𝗢𝗚 So don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can, always know what's going on. Hit that bell notification, all the YouTube stuff. Kaelo, thank you so much again.
All right, thank you so much, Nase. Thank you.